So much drama this week in the stock market. It feels like we're teenagers again, and there's a fight in the locker room. Trump, Musk, Trump, tweeting one against the other, just like locker room drama. We're going to cover everything. We're going to dive into some of the things they talked about, and of course, some of the things they deleted in the last few hours. Let's summarize the week with our weekly summary. So hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Micha, and on this channel we talk about the market. We summarize a weekly summary of the main highlights for the week. If you're new, it would be amazing if you can subscribe to the channel. It has already 6.5k subscribers, and of course enjoy the weekly summary that is recorded especially in English, although the usual channel is in Hebrew. Here we go with the major averages. The Russell up 3.3 for the week, NASDAQ up almost 2%, S&P up 1.5%, and the Dow Jones up 1.1% for the week. These are the indices. You can see XLK Technology, Energy, Communication up between 2.2 to 3.2, while on the flip side, we see consumer discretionary, utilities, and others being red for the week. This is how the crypto market behaved. No, nothing to report. Nothing interesting there. And you can see commodities here up. Natural gas up almost 10%, 9.2 for the week. Crude oil up 6.2. We can see gold up 6% for the week, while silver down 1.3. Sorry, silver up 6% for the week, gold down 1.3 for the week. And these are the great, except Tesla, which we're going to talk about in a second. Meta up 7% for the week, Nvidia up 4.8 for the week, even Google up 1.1 for the week. Tesla, we're going to talk about it in a second. And this is CNN Fear and Greed. We're back in greed, meaning we are back in town. This is the time where people feel better buying stocks. They feel a lot more convinced that things are going to go up. Usually it means that we are starting to get closer to a top rather than a bottom. And because I haven't covered the feud between Musk and Trump here in the English channel, I'm going to spend 2 minutes on that. Not going to dive in too much on it, just to give you kind of the lay of the land, what happened. But just before that, Friday afternoon, after the bell, 5:30 p.m., sorry, there was Eastern time. There was supposed to be an announcement on inclusion of new companies to the S&P 500 and deletion or taking out companies. Everyone was betting on Hood, Robinhood, or AppLovin, APP. Everyone's waiting, refreshing. Nothing happened. Around 7 p.m., Emily Graffeo from Bloomberg posted that probably no change in the S&P 500. This, of course, sent aftermarket trading, Hood, AppLovin, and other stocks down 5% for the week. Okay. We also had on Friday a jobs report for May. Came very good, better than expected. That, of course, fueled the advances in the market. Trump-Musk. I'm not going to spend too much, so let's be focused on what is going on here. Musk helped Trump with a lot of millions of dollars spent on the campaign, going with him to the campaign trail with one goal in mind. Let's reduce the Americans' deficit. In order to do that, after Trump was elected, Elon Musk took upon himself to create DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, to reduce spend, to cut cost, and again, to deliver to the promise. That means that we are going to reduce the debt. And there comes the big, beautiful bill that Trump put on the table. The big, beautiful bill that Trump put on the table increases spending and increases debt. This blew a fuse at Elon Musk. Last Friday, he left the government. Whether it was because of a technical reason, whether it was because he was fed up, it doesn't really matter. And on Wednesday during the day, Thursday during the day, and Friday, these two gentlemen, the richest person in the world and the strongest person in the world, started fighting one another in tweets. And I kid you not, this is how it looks from a Tesla stock market perspective. You know why it went down 14%? Because they started texting one against the other. Trump saying, I'm very disappointed with Elon. Elon saying, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Trump said, I asked him to leave because it was just going crazy. Musk said, such obvious lies, so sad, and it kept going on and on and on. Even Musk going back to old Donald Trump tweets saying, look, he said this and that, wise words, why isn't he doing that? And more, I couldn't agree more, meaning Trump is not doing that. And then Trump reacts, and Musk reacts. And it went on and 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 on. And this happened, and it was a huge mess. Now, this is what happened to Musk's fortune, if you really want to know about that. A few hours ago, let's see if I have it here. No, I don't have it here. I think maybe this was not found. Okay. So three very dramatic things also happened. One, Trump said, we're going to look into all of Musk's contracts with the government. Musk said, you know what? You don't want me to have any contract with the government? No problem. I'm decommissioning the space program, which is called Dragon. No one's going to come back from space. Good luck, Trump. Do whatever you want. Of course, that was rolled back. Musk said, okay, I'll keep it. That's one thing. Second thing, Musk, in one of his tweets, which was deleted about a few hours ago, said that the reason why Epstein files, that's a different thing, Google it, Epstein files were not uncovered is because Trump is in them. That's, of course, a nuclear bomb, putting it in the center of the Oval Office. That, of course, took things to the max. Musk deleted that tweet, but still it exists. It doesn't really matter. So this is where we are right now. Both sides are probably going to try to lower down the flames, but you don't know. And that is the reason why Tesla stock went down 14% on Thursday, but went up 5% on Friday. And if you're a Tesla investor, yes, this should be something you need to be aware of, because if Musk, and of course Musk also made a survey, do we need a new political government? You know, he went into this spiral. Never mind. Okay. Trump during the week had a conversation with President Xi. That happened June 5th. While they discussed a lot of things related to the trade deal, and they agreed on two things. One, rare minerals are going to continue coming back to the U.S., which the Chinese stopped. And the second thing is that negotiations are going to continue, and they're going to continue Monday in London, June 9th. And that is the rare earth. I talked about that. Microsoft got to $3.5 trillion of market cap this week. Why is that important? Because in the past, a few years ago, people didn't believe that a $1 trillion company would be in the market, and then a $2 trillion, and then a $3 trillion, and now we're at 3.5. So every time someone tells you, there's not going to be a $4 trillion company, just remind them that the same person probably said a few years ago that, there's not going to be a $1 trillion company in the world. And this is a public service announcement for all the Americans here. If you're flying and your driver's license, does not have real ID, the TSA says that you cannot come with your Costco card. Costco ticker COST. Yes, you cannot, although it has a star there, it does not apply to being a real ID. FYI. Yes, true story. I didn't try it, but TSA probably saw a lot of that. President Trump signs an executive order on Friday to unleash American drone dominance and also hypersonic flights and cybersecurity dominance and more. This, of course, impacted the three known stocks, Archer, Joby, and Ehang, Chinese Ehang. ARK Invest discloses 4.6 stakes in Archer, which we just talked about, ACHR. Walmart CFO says consumer spending has been largely consistent, meaning that the recession isn't apparent. Spotify and United Airlines team up, and now you can hear your favorite podcasts also on United planes, I hope. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, a competition against OpenAI, says that in the next year to 5 years, there's going to be 10 to 20% unemployment due to AI. This, of course, created a lot of waves during the week. Everyone's talking about employment and how is it going to look like in the future. And to tell you the truth, no one really knows. No one really knows if it's gonna be something dramatic or not dramatic. No one really knows. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's not. We can't really know. Amazon is setting up a humanoid park in San Francisco where deliveries will be done by robots, by humanoid robots in a Rivian car with a driver. Why is that interesting? Except the fact that it accelerates the humanoid robot thesis, but also it provides Amazon the ability to deliver heavier packages than before because a human doesn't carry them. Going to be very, very interesting if that happens. Unity Software. As you can see, Unity Software, their CTO decides to leave after 6 months. This is rare. Usually, it's an indication that something is bad. We don't know what are the reasons and why did he do that. Meta seeks Hollywood deals for new virtual reality headset. They understand that if there's no content, people are not going to buy the headsets. Uber is going to try to launch a senior account that will be easier to order Ubers. Trump, it was the beginning of the week, so no one really remembers, went again, rampage against Powell, saying too late, Powell must lower interest rates. Apple is reportedly testing Perplexity in iPhones instead of Google. I'm not really sure that they're going to do a switch, but who knows? We're going to talk about Apple in about a minute. Meta just signed the biggest power deal in with Constellation Energy. They need 1.1, if I'm not mistaken, 1.1 gigawatt of electricity, of course, to power their data centers and AI. And last but not least, GDP. American GDP for Q2 currently stands at 4.6%. Could you believe last quarter we were negative? So apparently recession averted. Let's go back to growth. And if we're talking about growth, part of the Magnificent Seven, Apple was once a darling. No one would downgrade the company or the stock. Everyone was in love. You could not own Apple. In the last few months, things have changed. Since WWDC 24, which was last year, a lot of promises were made. A lot of excitement was there. Everyone was fantasizing that their iPhone would be a lot better. Then reality hit. Nothing really happened. From WWDC 24 to WWDC 25, I would say that the value, I'm not talking about list of features, but the value increased maybe 5%, 10% out of the 100% that they promised. And there comes WWDC, June 9, special event. What are they going to say and how are they going to wrap it with the failure of last year's promises? We will see that. So that's a big event that's happening this week in the technology world. From a macro perspective, Wednesday we get CPI, Thursday we get PPI. From a reporting perspective or earnings perspective, we don't have too much. We have Oracle on Wednesday, and Thursday we have Adobe. And last but not least, as usual, we look at the S&P 500, which closed on Friday, 6,000.37. We weren't at 6,000 since the last time we were at 6,000 was 26th of February 2025. Marvelous recovery, marvelous rebound. Now everyone sees only 6,100. And I'm here to tell you that 6,100 would be amazing. We're 2.4% away from all-time high. But I'm also here to remind you that the 150-day moving average is around 58.30. And we are okay going a bit higher, maybe even to 6,100, but then going back and testing support. We still have open gaps, whether it's down here all the way to 5,600, whether it's down at here at around 5,300. So we still have areas that if something bad happens, we have the reasons why to go down. Do I think we're going to go down? Currently, nothing in the charts suggests that. What we do see a very good trend. We just conquered above the 150-day moving average. If you love the 200-day moving average for some reason, you can see that we're above the 200-day moving average as well. But when we look at the 50-day moving average, this is where the problem is. We're pretty far from the 50-day moving average, and usually that brings us closer to a correction rather than further from a correction. If you enjoyed this, it would be amazing if you can smash that like button. Send it to 3 or 5 friends. Let them also enjoy the weekly summary in English. And also write in the comments if you want me to add other things as well. Till next time, it was great that you were here. Bye-bye.